We're just about to leave our hotel at Sable d'Or, which is the last but one hotel we'll be staying in. Next one being St Malo, which is this is our first river crossing of the day. Inevitably fairly busy on these roads, but not really that bad. I think I just hit a bad spell. As you can see, we're dressed up against the weather, but it isn't actually raining very much. Another cake shop. What have you got this time? A whole box?
A box of cake.
A whole box of cake?
Because it's our last day. And you must take a photograph going round with the fountain.
Okay.
Because I came here with the girls a few years ago.
Right. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Are you satisfied now?
Merci.
Cycling along the Rue de Petit Train from Maginot. Obviously an old train line. At the end of the Rue de la Petit Train we come to the Rue de la Haute. They very kindly provided us with some picnic tables, and we're about to eat our cakes. River crossing of the day. Notre Dame de Guildo, just here in the distance, is a rather interesting looking castle. And as I come round on the panorama, some opulent looking houses. Just climbed up out of the estuary. Now high up above it. Looks as if there are oyster pots. And beyond them, white sails. This is yet another little estuary in the middle of the scene. It is a group of people walking across the mud. That's the maximum I can telephoto in on this little camera, but it's very interesting to see whether, I don't know whether they're ramblers just taking the opportunity to cross the mud at low tide, or whether they're actually out there shellfishing. We're now riding along a fairly bumpy road which is called the Polders of Puvelet. Just thought you might like to see a preview of what it might be like when oil runs out. So one of these nice little seaside places, a few Hobie cats and some white sand, lots of islands dotted all around. An abandoned windsurfer in the quite different from the granite coast, where we've very steep rocky cliffs. Here, as you can see, it's shallow, things are very spread out. They've said the old bell tower. Ah. Interesting ancient stonework on this side of the door, and on the wall a rusty old anchor. We just coming out of St Malo, and we came across this very pretty wildflower meadow. And behind it, our last estuary crossing, I think. We're now in a cobbled street in Saint Malo. No entry, but but we're still going to go on. Little church at the end. Show this for the British contingents who might be watching this film. This is a contraphone cycle lane with the stoker going down it. Virtually unheard of in the UK because traffic engineers can't get their head around the whole concept, which is a great shame, because if they could, we could have some really good cycle routes through towns. Just going down it quite happily. There is no aggravation. Pedestrian crossing. A few bollards to try and make it a bit easier to avoid people just cutting the corner. So as you can see, it just goes on quite happily, avoiding the cars, with the stoker going on in front. Ferry from Dinard to St Malo. What time is it? Well, we're now going astern, away from the jetty. Nice little harbour there with a bridge over it in Dinard. These ships are just risk going in. Hope I can manage to steady the camera shake. Eyeing all these boats here manoeuvring near to the entrance to the yacht harbour. And on our starboard bow we have the I think the nearest thing the French have to a lifeboat. I think this is very convenient for us because we're entering the city via the gate that we can see ahead of us, and the hotel is about 2 roads in. So this is the walls of the city. The ramparts above. And this is our main access gate. And there's the ferry for Dinard. Inside the town through this gate. All we have to do to find the hotel is to go on and take the second road on the left. And here's our little hotel. And at the end of the road are the ramparts. It's possible to walk almost completely around St Malo on the walks like the ones ahead of us, and they even have their own little sandy beach in the town centre, very near to the harbour where currently Brittany ferries are loading. Really quite a shame that they don't have an overnight ship like they do to Plymouth from here to Weymouth. Like, here are the ramparts in the direction towards the north. Bit of a misty morning, but The entrance to St Malo is full of the rocky islands. Just like in any other French town, life goes on. Little restaurant down there, Hotel de Port Saint-Pierre. I'm actually looking for an exit, which may not be very easy to find. There's the area of a fort up there. I'll just stand still and go in on that. Just going down off the wall. Down these very ordinary little alleyways. Now walking down the main street of the town. The town walls of St Malo on the eastern side, which in fact along there directly ahead of us is the main entrance, which most people use, but we were fortunate to be able to use the side entrance this time. And then right by the town walls is the yacht harbour. Right at the rear of the yacht harbour there's a square rigged ship. Going across the swing bridge from St Malo to cycle into the ferry port. The entrance to the port. Condor ferries, cars straight ahead. No sign of bicycles, but that won't trouble us too much. Notice that the stoker's taking the lead as usual. Boarding the ferry. Usual stupidity of having to walk down the ramp. The quay at St Malo. As you can hear, the usual Condor safety announcement in the background. A very wet and unpleasant looking Jersey. Well, we're here in lovely sunny Jersey. Guernsey. Well, I suppose you want to make it worse. And as you can hear, it's a bit wet.
A bit damp out there.
We can't even go and sit in the cinema for the afternoon because they don't actually have one, which probably accounts that it's accounted for by the fact that the population is so old and rich that they probably all got their own. The arrivals hall at the Condor ferry in Weymouth.